Hey there. Today, we're going to tear down the walls and look inside Google Cloud Storage. If you've ever wondered how the internet manages to hold all those photos, videos, and backups without breaking a sweat, well, you're in exactly the right place. We're going to make it all super simple.
So here's the game plan. First, we'll tackle the big idea. What in the world is object storage? Then, we'll see how you keep it organized with something called buckets. After that, we'll get into how you can save some serious money by picking the right storage class. And of course, how you lock it all down and keep it safe. And to top it off, we'll look at some really cool ways people are using this stuff in the real world.
Okay, let's dive right in. First things first, what actually is object storage?
Well, to really get it, let me ask you a question. Just think about all the digital stuff you deal with every single day. Turns out, most of it is what we call unstructured data.
I'm talking about everything. Your photos, your videos, all those emails, entire web pages. And on a bigger scale, it's the massive data sets for backups, company archives, even data pouring in from sensors. The one thing all this stuff has in common, it doesn't fit nicely into a neat little spreadsheet or a traditional database. And that is the exact problem that object storage was born to solve.
And here's the big idea. Object storage is just a way of thinking about data designed for this kind of messy, unstructured world. It takes every single piece of data, whether it's a tiny little icon or a massive 4K video file, and wraps it up into a self-contained package called an object. This package doesn't just have the data, it also has some information about the data, which is super useful.
The absolute best way to picture this whole thing is to imagine a giant, practically infinite digital warehouse. Seriously. It's just this massive space where you can store anything and everything, and you basically never have to worry about running out of room.
Okay, so if we've got this unimaginably huge warehouse, how do we stop it from turning into a total chaotic mess? Well, that's where buckets come into play. The system is actually pretty simple, but it's incredibly powerful. A bucket is your main container. Think of it like a specific aisle in our warehouse. And an object? That's the actual box you're putting on the shelf in that aisle. The key rule is every single object has to live inside one bucket. That's it.
This visual really nails it, right? You've got your individual objects, your data, and the bucket is the thing holding them all together. This is the fundamental building block for how you organize everything, and as we're going to see in a minute, it's also how you control who gets to touch what.
Now, here's a little secret about Google Cloud Storage that's kind of wild. Those folders you see, they're not real. It's all an illusion. The system actually has what's called a flat namespace, which is just a fancy way of saying there are no folders. When you name an object something like images/cat.jpg, that / is just another character in the file's name. It's the software on your computer that sees the slash and draws you a nice little folder icon to make you feel at home. Pretty clever, huh?
All right, now we're getting into the really practical stuff. You see, not all data is the same. Some stuff you need to grab like right now. Other stuff you might not look at for years. Google Cloud Storage gets this, and it has storage classes. You can think of these as different sections in our warehouse, each with its own set of rules and, more importantly, its own price tag.
And really, it all boils down to one simple question you have to ask yourself. How often am I actually going to need this data? Because your answer to that question is going to determine the cheapest way to store it. This table breaks it all down perfectly. So for your hot data that you're using all the time, like for a busy website or streaming video, you use standard storage. But for data you access way less, like maybe monthly backups, nearline is going to be cheaper. Need it even less, like maybe once a quarter for long-term archives? Coldline is even more affordable. And finally, for data you might not touch for a year or more, like disaster recovery files, you've got archive storage. It's the cheapest of all, but the trade-off is you're telling Google you plan to leave it there for at least a year.
So, we've figured out how to store our data, and we've picked the right class to keep costs down. Now, for maybe the most important part of all, security. How do we put a lock on our digital warehouse and control exactly who gets in? The answer is a little three-letter acronym, IAM, which stands for Identity and Access Management. Just think of it as the super advanced security system for your entire warehouse. The whole idea is built on a really simple but powerful framework, defining exactly who can do what and on which specific thing. And it works in 3 easy steps. First, you've got the principal. That's the who. It could be a person, like you, or a coworker, or even an automated program. Second, you give them a role. That's the what they can do. For example, a viewer role lets them look but not touch, while a creator can add new stuff. And finally, you apply that role to a resource, which is the on what. That could be your entire project, or you could get super specific and apply it to just a single bucket. It's just like giving someone a keycard that only unlocks certain doors in the building.
Okay, enough theory. We've talked about objects, buckets, storage classes, and security. Now let's see how all these pieces snap together to solve actual problems out in the wild. And the applications are just all over the place. I mean, companies use Google Cloud Storage for everything from hosting simple websites to storing and streaming huge libraries of videos. It's also the foundation for a lot of big data and machine learning projects. And of course, it's an absolute go-to for creating backups and archives that are both super reliable and cost-effective.
And check out this great example. The Georgetown University Law Library moved its entire digital archive over to Google Cloud. This meant they could preserve all these priceless records for the future, and they got to shut down their old, expensive, physical data center for good. This quote from a product director just nails it. Rather than building your own infrastructure, you can use Google's infrastructure and know that it's scalable and secure. That's the whole point, right? You're tapping into decades of Google's hard-won engineering expertise instead of trying to reinvent the wheel yourself.
So as we wrap things up, I'll just leave you with this one thought. We all know our data is growing like crazy. It's exponential. The real question isn't if it's going to grow, but is your storage solution actually ready to handle that future? Thanks for joining me today.